Okay, so let's get one of the more boring videos out the way. This is something that needs to be done really. You want to go through your settings. There's just some defaults that you want to put in here. All right, I'm thinking through, you've got a new site. Before you start building out your web pages and things like this, let's just tick off some of these. Now, there's a lot in here. I want to go through each of these sections one by one. We'll put chapters in the video. So either in the description below, you'll see it like an index listing out all of these names, or actually along the timeline, it's probably running that way actually. You can see that it's just divided up and hopefully it'll all make sense. So we're on the home page. This is where you've come in. And let's come down to settings and let's just jump in and run through them, shall we? So site details is the first one. And you've got your name in here, your subdomain. The idea is that you would actually purchase a domain name and point it into here. So we've got adriansalisbury.com, for instance, that points into our main site. And you can click on there, follow through. There's a whole training on that one that Kajabi have put up in that tutorial area, and who knows, we might make one as well. But that would be the plan. It would be that you would point your own domain in rather than this my Kajabi address. Put an email in there, phone number if you want to. Default currency, most of you this is going to be US dollars, but just select from the options there which currency you want. This will affect your payments by default, all your plans and things that you're doing, and of course your analytics as well. Then let's come down homepage. We're going to just use the theme homepage for now. Branding, you've got your logo. You can put a logo in here if you want, and you can put a favicon. Do you know what a favicon is? If you look at the top of my screen there, I've got that little K up there for Kajabi that sits in the tab. That's a favicon, and so we can just upload one of those if you've got one made. Typically I think it's about 100 pixels by 100 pixels, they suggest, a little square. There's one that I've got a little fun cut out of me, and I can stick that in there. And it's quite funny when I've been on customer calls before and I can see that little icon at the top of their tabs, and I know that they're looking at one of my pages. Okay, social image there. If I want to just upload something, I can do. Maybe I drop something like this in. Now your colors, just keep saving this as you go. Colors, have you got some brand colors that you want to use? You can then just adjust this palette, so when it's suggesting to you a range of colors, you can have them all branded to yourself. Instructor, choose an instructor image. Again, it shows you down here suggested 300 by 300. You can go a bit bigger than that if you want. Upload a new file, and you can just drag here. So I'm just dragging from Finder across. There's a picture, and let's just put my name in, Adrian Salisbury, coach, that'll do. Page script, so if you're used to websites where you put little snippets of code in the head section, or maybe you've got some, even like Google and tracking code like that. YouTube, for instance, if you are linking up to YouTube, if you've got a channel that you want to be able to send out to a page, it'll ask you to put a snippet of code in the head section. This is where you would put it. Then SEO and sharing. So normally on each page that you do, you would have a title and a description. This is the title and description that you see when you look at a Google search. So it's really important from an SEO point of view to put a title for your page and a description. Typically, you're going to do that on the pages as you build them. If you want, you can put a default in here. So should you forget on any of those pages, then it will come back to this default one. So I'm just going to pop one in here that says Adrian Salisbury video training, helping overwhelmed entrepreneurs create professional quality videos with ease. And I'm going to save that. That's site details. Let's go across marketing settings. And again, on all of these, there's a little tab there if you want to understand and learn a bit more about this, why it's asking you these things. As I mentioned before in other videos, fantastic support. So my address details, company logo. Now, once I've uploaded this once, I can say select a recent file. And look, it's keeping them in a library over here. So I'm going to select that one and save it. So email settings, this is one that you do really want to pay attention to. Thinking that you're going to be sending out emails from Kajabi, this is the from address. So when somebody gets it come through, does it want to say, in this case, Adrian Salisbury's test site? No. I actually want it just to say Adrian Salisbury. That's who I want it to be from. Now the from address is actually where it's really being sent from. It's coming out of the kajabimail.net. So Adrian Salisbury, this address, as it says here, leave it alone, because what you don't want to find is this is where you can get spam problems if the address here is different to what you've written in. So leave this one alone, but you can absolutely put in here a reply address. And as it shows you in the preview, this is what it will say, reply to, and it will send it back to this team at Adrian Salisbury. Okay, you don't need to worry about this custom email domain, and by all means have a look. If you're a big email user, this might be of interest to you, but most of you skip over this. Email sequence defaults. Now, if you're just sending out one email to a group of people, you can absolutely specify what time and date that it goes out. But if you're doing this in a sequence that says somebody downloads this freebie and I want to send them an email on days 1, day 4, day 7, then this is the default time that it will send that email. Now, we're in the UK here and we're 8 hours ahead of Pacific time. So if I send this at 11 a.m. in the UK, it's going to be in the very early hours of the morning to someone in Pacific time and potentially caught in their spam. So I might typically put this back and say, okay, I want my default time to be 2 p.m. and it just means it's going to be arriving a bit later. Right, let's jump back out of marketing settings, checkout settings. Okay, checkout settings. Now, we're not talking about someone signing up to your email list that doesn't know you. This is somebody who purchases your product. GDPR, all these kind of privacy issues, we've got to be really careful with this. But I absolutely think in this case, you can tick automatic. I've had problems in the past where somebody has bought something and they haven't received the emails for the sign-up details and how to access it because they didn't tick this box. And so Kajabi says we haven't got permission to send them emails. So I'm absolutely putting this as automatic. If you know different or better, then by all means, you tick another option. But yeah, I want to make sure that if somebody buys from me, then they get it. And I don't think they're going to mind receiving emails from me in the future because I'm not going to be throwing sales messages at them. Leaving your card details, there's a recommended one. Let's just leave it on that. Checkout tracking code. I don't think we need to add anything in. Again, this would be a way if you wanted to be able to track and say, tell me the people that got to the checkout page, then you might want to put a snippet of code in here. But when we're doing it, for instance, with Facebook, and we're doing it site-wide, you're going to see me do that in a few minutes' time. It'll pick all this up. So let's just hit save on there, come out of checkout settings, blog settings. Now, I'm not a blog user, but you would put a title and description in here in the same way that you would have a default, although you can get into them individually and change around the title and description. Drip settings, similar to what I said earlier about the times of emails, but in this case, when we're looking at a product, so for instance, our Ecamm Live Academy, we set this so 9 a.m. every morning. Day one's videos get sent out, then day two gets sent out on the second day, third day, things like that. So this is a default setting to say what time of day I want these videos to be made available inside a product. So actually 10 a.m. we do 9 a.m. in our academies so that those in the UK can access them. It's not going to send an email to anyone. In fact, I'm going to untick that. Sorry, I just spotted that. I don't want to send an email in my case. Yeah. You'll get onto this later, but we're just putting these in as some defaults first of all. Member payments, enable members to self-cancel their subscriptions. I would always leave this on. You know, if somebody's in and it's a membership, they really want to be able to access in their control panel to say, yes, I want to unsubscribe. You can turn it off so that they have to contact you and you have to manually do it if you want to do that. Where are we down to? Payment integrations. This is where you connect up your Stripe for people to be able to put in their card details, or PayPal. I would definitely do both, and I would definitely offer both to your customers at the checkout. How do we do that? The best thing I can suggest is click the Learn More button, because once again, Kajabi have done fantastic tutorials, either a video there or a step-by-step how to do it. Yeah, they've done a better job than I could. So let's just leave it there and say, follow those instructions to set that up. You've only got to do it once, but you do need to do it. This is why we're running through this. These are some defaults that you want to get in place first. Third-party integrations. Now, you might initially be working with other email platforms. Again, I would be encouraging you as quick as possible to get over and use Kajabi. Certainly if you're on a trial right now, why don't you try importing some contacts and do a mail blast from inside Kajabi and actually see what the open rates and things are like. So if you need to and you plan to stay with one of these other email platforms, for instance, this is where you would connect those together. More importantly, things like your Facebook pixel. You really do want to be tracking this. Well, I had a customer in the Kajabi Academy who did a launch and didn't get any sales come through from it. But I said, oh, please tell me you were tracking it, because actually you'd be able to send an advert to people who went to that registration page but didn't purchase, for instance. Or you could send a different ad to somebody who landed on the thank you page afterwards. So really powerful, really important. Even if you're not planning on using any ads at the moment, I really would follow through the steps in here. How do I integrate it? There's a little link over to it. Yeah, definitely. You could be kicking yourself in a few months' time if you haven't been doing this and you can't gather that data to say, well, I want to send an advert to the person who landed on this page. Really, really powerful marketing. I've got that set up on my other account. I'm not going to try and do it here. And as I say, you can click on here and follow through. Zapier as well, other things. This is the place that, as it says, those third-party integrations, you can enter them all in here. Email templates. You will have a set of templates. For example, cart abandonment. So if somebody goes to your cart, you can set it to say, email them after an hour with a default cart abandonment email. This is actually a really powerful little tool that you can just, well, you can see what it says in here. Let's have a look at it. We'll click to edit it. So the subject says, your purchase isn't complete. Hey there, we noticed that you were just about to purchase whatever the offer was, but didn't finalize your order. To complete your order, simply click the button below. It's as simple as that. We've had a few people actually that have come to us and gone, I'm so glad you sent that email, because they were on a phone or they were distracted and thought they'd come back to it, but just getting a prompt to say, hey, do you want to come back through? Really powerful. So these are all default emails. Flick down it and have a look. When somebody purchases one of your products, they would by default get an offer purchase confirmation. Thanks for purchasing whatever it was by Adrian Salisbury. You can log into it with your email and password at the link below. So this is a default one. It's not particularly friendly. You can absolutely change this up if you want to in here, and then you're just changing those defaults. You can also go in and as you get into those sales pages and offers and things, you can absolutely create custom emails for those people. These are just templates that we're flicking through right now. Domain, this is where you're going to hook up and connect your domain name. So it'll tell you in here how to set that up. Again, great tutorials on that. Definitely something you want to be doing when you've settled on Kajabi and you know this is where you're going to be. Don't worry about it if you're in a trial and you're not totally convinced whether you're staying or not. Form settings, at the minute, these are just some custom fields that you can put in here. You can add to those later if you want to be able to put your own custom fields that when you're creating a form and you're looking at the select on the list that you want to choose, there's not one there like opt-in for emails, for instance. You can absolutely type your own custom field in there. This is a fairly new feature. Add in reCAPTCHA to single opt-in forms. Yes, we want to do that. Again, it's a good way of knocking out spam. It's that kind of saying, are you a robot type thing, or checking that you're not a robot. So we'll turn that one on. Nearly there. Mobile app settings. So did you know you've got a mobile app? And you can put a default icon in here if you want to. Could be just the same one that we've used elsewhere, except it's cropping it to a square by the looks of it. I'll skip that one for now. So you could put a default little square icon in there if you want. So this is a preview of your app. These are some default colors if you want to change this around. And this is a good idea down here, this little email, just to send to new customers and say, hey, did you know that actually you can access this training from an app? And so there's just a little swipe copy down there that you can copy, reword slightly, but the most important thing is the links that you've got in there. Just encouraging people to go over, download the app from the App Store, and then if they're logged in with the same email, it will show up automatically and show your course along with anybody else's courses that are using Kajabi. And the last one on here is labs. And really this is like a beta or beta area. So if you want to be able to add these things in, there are some new features and things in here that aren't fully available yet. So why not try them? They're not going to hurt anything. I'm going to tick a few of these on because I know that that has been a pain. I didn't even realize this was here actually. You can learn more about some of these as it says there, or just hang on, I'm not using them at all at this stage if you don't want to. But that's the bottom of our settings. We've then got accounts, so let's jump into those and fly our way through. Account details. This is all what you entered at the start. I have just put a little avatar in here in the past, and I'm going to pop that in there. Not really sure what this is. I haven't done that. Let's just save it. Notice that we've now got this down the side, and actually it's laid out a bit different to what it was on that original page, but it's the same heading. So let's just work through this. Billing, your address details in here, credit card info, out of interest if you decide you want to upgrade your plan. At the minute you're on this basic plan if you've come through this 30-day trial, and then if you want to just click to go up to the different plans, you can learn more about them and upgrade to them at that point. Tells you about your billing dates, your activity, passwords. If you need to change anything, you can come into here and do that. Contact info, worth just updating this. This is your contact information about billing, notifications and privacy. What do you want to be told about? Do you want to know when a new comment is created? That's if you've got a product and you've got comments at the bottom. Definitely you want to be getting that. Notice me when I earn free swag as a Kajabi hero. I don't think that's accessible at the minute because on the basic plan, you're not an affiliate. I'm not sure how this is working. So this is more about comments and posts. What about when someone's subscription payment fails? Yes, you want notified. So just a list of options. I would leave it as the defaults, to be honest. Analytics, I would leave this again as its default and let everything be tracked. Users, we don't have any other users set up on this. This is where if you wanted to have a team and different people logging into this, you would need to be on the growth plan. On the basic plan, you only get one login. Partner dashboard, I'm not quite sure why you're seeing this because you need to be on the growth plan to be able to have affiliates. So I'm interested why that's in here, but not sure. And Kajabi Access is the last one. This is new as well. I haven't seen this before. You can get as it says here, you can get a free success session with one of the Kajabi team. This is normally part of Kajabi Access. You pay a monthly upgrade to be able to have this and have support of one of their team coming alongside you as you're setting things up. I think we've done it all. So well done if you got all the way to the end of that. Just giving you, again, we've had a quick look over here to have a look at what we're doing, and notice that now I've got a new tab appeared on the left saying analytics instead of it being stuck inside the website. This is because we turned on this labs for the analytics. So a few things would change around in here if you use those labs. Okay, so hopefully you found that useful. If so, please give us a thumbs up, and be sure if you haven't already to subscribe, hit the notification bell because we've got loads more videos like this coming to this YouTube channel and I wouldn't want you to miss out on them. Okay, I'll see you in another of those videos.